Dopamine is discipling you. You're not tired, you're sedated. We've got these habits. We grab our phone and we scroll. They call it Doomscrolling. Porn addiction is rampant. People use food as a coping mechanism rather than as nutrition. You look at just all of culture, whether it's gaming or the way we entertain ourselves to numbness. These are all symptoms of sedation. Well, the Bible tells us that we're to be living out the fruit of the Spirit. And the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy, peace, patience. Self-control is a part of the fruit of the Spirit. But it's hard to have self-control when you've been sedated because you're being discipled by dopamine. And so you start looking at, what are we supposed to do? Well, the Apostle Paul gives us a picture. He says, I beat my body. I make it my slave. So my body actually serves me. I make my body my slave so that I could win the crown. Instead, what many of us are doing in our pursuits of comfort is that maybe we do a job we don't like and there's stress, or we have a conversation, a relationship, and we don't know how to help somebody else with their problem. Or there just seems to be these tests coming and there's too much pressure and we want escape. We want numbness. That numbness leads to shame and then more escape. We see it in the garden. You look at how ridiculous what happened in Genesis chapter 3 is. Adam and Eve sin, and when Eve took the fruit, she eats of it, then her husband's standing right there. She gives it to her husband, and then they make these fig leaves and they begin hiding, and they're in shame. It's really interesting because the way Genesis chapter 2 ended was it wasn't good for Adam to be alone, and so God created for him a wife. And he's blown away. And the first words in the Bible by a human are a man praising a woman with poetry. For she's bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This is woman. She was taken out of a man. And there's a Hebrew wordplay that takes place there that man and mankind has always been described as Adamah up until that point. But then here it's Ish and Aisha. Aisha, out of a man. Ish, a man. Different words. We're the same, but we're different. And he's blown away. But remember in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 17, he was given a command before Eve even existed. Because it's in verse 18 that it says in Genesis chapter 2, it's not good for man to be alone. In verse 17, you can eat of any tree except for this one tree. Interesting. And then the woman says you're not even supposed to touch it. Well, she added that. So clearly Adam communicated something to her. Maybe he communicated poorly. Maybe she's adding something on there. Probably a good idea not to touch it, but that wasn't what God said. Then Satan comes along and he's doing what he does. He speaks lies and he's lying to her and he gives her a partial truth. It's true. Your eyes will be open. But it's not true that you're going to be like God. In fact, that's the sin that he had. You can read that, Ezekiel chapter 28, Isaiah chapter 14. And she takes the fruit, and then she gives some to her husband, which shows that he was standing right there the whole time. He was passively standing by while his wife is tempted, while his wife does the one thing that they're commanded not to do, and then he does it. And do you know Genesis chapter 2, it ended in verse 25, which says they were naked and they felt no shame. And as soon as they eat the fruit, shame enters the world. They begin hiding. They hide behind fig leaves. And then the most moronic thing you can possibly see in the Bible is that God, who's omnipresent, everywhere all the time, omniscient, he knows everything, he knows your thoughts before you think them. He comes walking through the garden and they're hiding on God. Think about that. It's like a 2-year-old who plays hide and seek. Have you ever played hide and seek with a 2-year-old? They think because they hide their face and they can't see you, that you can't see them, and we act the same way with God sometimes. We think because we can't see him that he can't see us. They're hiding and they're in shame. And our shame is oftentimes the reason why we're seeking the doom scrolling, the porn, the food, the gaming, and we're lacking the self-control because we're sedating ourselves as we're being discipled by dopamine. You think you're tired. You're not tired. You're sedated. And so your mind is in this neutral state. What do? I'm going to give you a 5-step plan. First of all, reduce the stimulus. Cut the noise. That's going to mean less phone time. It's going to be remove some of the triggers. What are the things that you go to sedate yourself? Whether that's food, porn, scroll, gaming, whatever the things are, you've got You got to remove access to some of those things and replace the reward. What about healthy dopamine? See, rewards aren't bad. In fact, we see them all throughout the Bible as a motivator. However, when the rewards are the sedation, it's ruining your life. It's sucking the energy out of you and you're lacking self-control. So replace the reward with healthy dopamine. Increase your responsibility. Do hard things daily. Instead of constantly seeking comfort, we've got to seek to be stretched, because it's in the stretching that we grow. It's why some people cold plunge. It's hard. It's painful, but it's beneficial. That's why you lift weights. It tears the muscles, but it's beneficial. And so I'm not saying seek punishment, seek somebody who's mean to you, get in a toxic relationship. No. But do hard things. And as you do hard things, you'll grow, and what used to be hard to you will become normal to you, and you won't need the sedation. Rebuild a spiritual rhythm. Recommit to some time in the Word, some time praying, time focusing on God and His will for your life. Reduce the stimulation, remove access to those triggers, replace the reward, increase your responsibility, and rebuild a spiritual rhythm. I want to give you a challenge, a 7-day challenge of a reset. This would be your call to action. How are you going to, and I want you to pause, maybe even pause the video right now and sit down and write down the 5 things I just said of reduce the stimulus, remove the access, replace the reward with a healthy reward, increase your responsibility, do hard things, and rebuild your spiritual rhythm. Those are the 5 things that I'm giving you in this video if you want to stop being sedated and stop being disciplined by dopamine, discipled by dopamine, and to have a spiritual reset in your life. 7 days. And recommit to some of those disciplines. And I believe that the next time you tune in, you'll be more unleashed and highly more effective on mission. And that's my desire for you. If this information was helpful to you, if you like this video, would you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and if you've got some things you'd like to add that you think might be beneficial to some other people that'll watch, we put in the comments. And if you disagree, I would love to interact over that in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, stay unleashed and on mission.